We are at Fortune Brainstorm Tech in Park City, where every conversation, or almost every conversation, is touching artificial intelligence. While artificial intelligence has been around for decades now, the opportunities for automation, optimization of regular way processes, as well as the introduction of generative AI, which has made the technology more ubiquitous to consumers and end users, is not just a hype, but very much growing excitement for investment opportunities. On a panel this morning with Tess Hatch from Bessemer, she talked about augmented intelligence versus artificial intelligence and its advancement to support human decision-making, innovation, and commercial opportunities.
I think the more intriguing takeaway is there's a lot of focus by a lot of companies, a lot of public policy experts on the social, environmental, governance-related issues that are going to be impacted society-wise from the advent of artificial intelligence. And to me, that was kind of one of the more positive takeaways from the conference.
Firstly, generative AI has been a recurring theme and have dominated the conversations in the last 2 days. And that has ranged from all the topics from new business models, future of work, to climate and sustainability implications of AI. However, despite all the recent hype, enthusiasm, and even investments that have flown into the sector, there's a general sentiment that we are still in the very early innings of a multi-decade growth story. The panel discussion hosted by Mizuho today was particularly insightful on what we can expect in the next year and near term and short term. The panelists discussed a number of growth topics ranging from new large language models that are very domain specific, to open source foundational models, to new trust and governance frameworks to be applied on these models that will continue to reshape the landscape for years to come.
I think there's a lot more enthusiasm from people. They feel better, they're more optimistic. If we sort of rewind to when we did this last year, we were kind of, halfway into the Fed rate hike cycle. There was a lot of uncertainty in the markets. The markets were not performing well. And so it just felt like there was a much bigger cloud kind of hanging over everybody at that time, particularly in tech, which suffered a lot of the valuation, decreases more so than a lot of the other industry sectors.
Interesting takeaway was that the sentiment is beginning to turn more positive. Even though the velocity of deals have come down significantly in the last 6 quarters, more dollars are being invested into fewer opportunities today. And this is excluding all the investments in generative AI. And what that tells me is that there is a clear shift towards quality.
One of the other topics of conversation that has been on the mind of both startups as well as investors are the opening of the IPO markets, given the more challenging capital raising environment. The IPOs of some of the larger companies, whether it be GE Healthcare, Kenvue, Mobileye, and the most recent IPO of Kava, have clearly planted green shoots, and the performance of those stocks are raising the specter of the potential for an IPO market at the early of 2024. Companies are ready for it, as are investors.
When will the IPO market reopen? I think one thing that's notable for me this year versus last year at this time is that sentiment is materially different. The setup is favorable for SPACs to come back. Whether the broader market is ready for them in terms of the regulatory environment and the sentiment remains to be seen. But from a oversupply to complete undersupply, we are in a complete undersupply zone right now.
There is probably no better time to be focused on tech. We go through these cycles of innovation and prosperity, and then kind of maturity and maturation of product cycles and technology cycles. And you think, oh, tech is over. It's matured. And then boom, comes something like generative AI, and it's upending everything. One of the reasons why I love technology so much is there's constant innovation. I think we're going to look forward a decade from now, and I've done this work looking backwards, where a decade ago or 15 years ago, the largest tech companies in the world, if you look at them today, it's a totally different list. different list of companies that have the biggest market caps in the world. And I think a decade from now, it's going to be a bunch of companies that we've never heard of or thought of yet that are going to dominate the investment opportunities. It's a really great time to be focused in technology.